His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received at Safriya Palace the UAE Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, on the occasion of His Highness's visit to the kingdom to co-chair the 12th session of the Joint Supreme Committee between Bahrain and the UAE. His Majesty affirmed his pride and the close and solid fraternal relations between Bahrain and the UAE, their leaders and peoples, and the mutual keenness to continue strengthening and developing these ties in various fields based on the strong historical bonds that unite the two nations. His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed conveyed to His Majesty the greetings and appreciation of the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and the UAE Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and their best wishes for further development and progress to Bahrain and its people. His Majesty welcomed the UAE Deputy Prime Minister and the accompanying delegation, conveying to him his greetings and wishes for His Highness and the UAE President, His Highness the UAE Vice President and Prime Minister, to the brotherly UAE people further progress and prosperity. His Majesty praised the deep-rooted Bahraini-Emirati relations, which constitute a distinguished model and an example of relations between brotherly countries linked by ties of brotherhood, unity of visions, positions, and common destiny. His Majesty hailed the results of the Bahrain-UAE Joint Ministerial Committee and its achievements in further strengthening the strategic partnership, supporting bilateral cooperation, integration, and coordination in various areas that meet the aspirations of both countries and peoples and achieves their common interest. His Majesty also expressed appreciation for the UAE's continuous support and honorable stances towards the kingdom and its people at various stages and circumstances. For his part, His Highness expressed pride in the role of His Majesty and his keenness to consolidate the distinguished historical ties and further strengthen the fraternal cooperation between Bahrain and the UAE. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa chaired the weekly cabinet meeting at Ghlaibiya Palace in light of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa's remarks during his reception of top achievers and medalists at the Gymnasia at Bahrain 2024. The cabinet affirmed the kingdom's appreciation for its citizens, as emphasized in His Majesty's address. Their outstanding sports performances have further elevated Bahrain's position and competitiveness on the global stage. The cabinet praised the efforts of the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs and Chairman of the Supreme Committee for Youth and Sports, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, as well as the First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Committee for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, for their dedication in overseeing the organizational efforts for this significant international event. The Cabinet extended its congratulations to Her Royal Highness, the wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, as well as all Bahraini women on the occasion of Bahraini Women's Day. It highlighted the SCW's significant role in empowering Bahraini women and enhancing their contributions across all sectors. The Cabinet welcomed the Ministry of Interior for securing first place in the Arab world for its operational information field cooperation, which resulted in the successful arrest of drug trafficking networks. The recognition was part of the annual awards organized by the General Secretariat of the Arab Interior Ministers. The Cabinet affirmed that this security milestone was made possible by the dedicated efforts of the Ministry of Interior and its professional personnel. The Cabinet added that this achievement contributes significantly to advancing the Kingdom's security objectives. The Cabinet highlighted and welcomed the Kingdom's successful bid to host the 17th edition of the prestigious Arab Games in 2031, emphasizing the Kingdom's commitment to supporting efforts to ensure the event's success. The Cabinet extended its congratulations to the leadership, government, and people of the UAE on the UAE's 53rd Eid al-Ittihad. It acknowledged the nation's remarkable development under the leadership of the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, supported by the Vice President and Prime Minister and UAE and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and the Vice President, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the Presidential Court of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The Cabinet also wished the UAE continued progress and prosperity. The Cabinet then approved the following: a memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs and Fiscal Balance regarding cooperation with the private sector to establish an integrated unit for breast cancer detection. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs regarding the Mecca Agreement of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation on Anti-Corruption Law Enforcement Cooperation. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs regarding 2 draft laws to prevent hate speech and to protect and assist internally displaced people in Arab countries. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs regarding a draft resolution on halal products in Bahrain, which aims to provide halal certification services in order to facilitate trade between Arab countries. And a memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs on the government's response to a proposal submitted by the Representatives Council. In addition, the Cabinet highlighted the following ministerial reports: the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the GCC Ministers of Interior meeting, the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the 4th International Dates Council, the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference, Bahrain's participation in COP29, and the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in organizing the 9th UN Tourism World Forum on Gastronomy Tourism. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa received envoy of His Highness the Emir of Kuwait and Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullah Ali Al Yahya at Qutbiyya Palace. During the meeting, His Royal Highness received an invitation on behalf of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa from the Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Mishal Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, to attend the upcoming 45th GCC Summit, scheduled to be held in Kuwait next week. His Royal Highness highlighted the strength of the historic Bahrain-Kuwait relations and affirmed Kuwait's pivotal role in advancing joint GCC efforts. His Royal Highness expressed Bahrain's best wishes for the success of the 45th GCC Summit in achieving its objectives. For his part, Al Yahya expressed appreciation for His Royal Highness's dedication to strengthening joint GCC cooperation and wished the kingdom continued growth and prosperity. The Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, the Minister of Finance and National Economy Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, and the Minister of Cabinet Affairs Hamad bin Faisal Al Malki also attended the meeting. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa met with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan at Qutbiyya Palace. His Royal Highness highlighted the long-standing Bahrain-UAE relations and multi-sectoral collaboration, which continues to flourish under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. His Royal Highness stressed that the Bahrain-UAE relations represent a model of strategic partnership built on a foundation of mutual respect and shared aspirations. He welcomed His Highness to Bahrain and praised the partnership between the two countries. His Highness conveyed the greetings of the UAE President and the Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, to His Royal Highness, extending their wishes for continued progress and prosperity for Bahrain and its people. His Royal Highness conveyed his greetings to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, wishing further progress and prosperity for the UAE and its people. During the meeting, the latest regional and international developments and issues of common interest were discussed. His Highness expressed gratitude for His Royal Highness's commitment to enhancing the bilateral partnership and wished Bahrain further progress and prosperity. His Royal Highness hosted a lunch banquet in honor of His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed and the accompanying delegation. The representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Trust and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Tamkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and several senior officials also attended the meeting. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa met with the Speaker of the Representatives Council Ahmed Al-Msallam and the Chairman of the Shura Council Ali Saleh, along with the Chairman and members of the Public Utilities and Environment Committees of both councils, as well as members of both councils at Ghlibiyya Palace. His Royal Highness affirmed the commitment to strengthening cooperation between the executive and legislative authorities and the private sector to achieve the kingdom's development aspirations in line with the vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Royal Highness emphasized that the kingdom's achievements result from the collective efforts of Team Bahrain and their dedication to excellence and success across various projects that benefit Bahrainis. He highlighted that the ongoing cooperation between the two authorities, along with the collective efforts of Team Bahrain, enables the kingdom to consistently achieve its development goals while prioritizing the interests of citizens. Al-Msallam and Al-Saleh and the Chairman of the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Samir Nas, expressed their gratitude for His Royal Highness's commitment to strengthening collaboration between the two authorities, private sector institutions, and all members of Team Bahrain, contributing to the realization of Bahrain's development goals. The Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, the Minister of Interior General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, the Minister of Finance and National Economy Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, the Chairman of the Bahrain Chamber, and a number of senior officials also attended the meeting. The representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, observed part of Polish athlete Robert Karas's attempt to set a world record in Bahrain for the most consecutive days completing Ironman distances in a 150-day ultra triathlon challenge. His Highness encouraged Karas and praised his determination and the progress he made over the past 24 days. He expressed full confidence in his ability to overcome all challenges in the remaining 126 days of the challenge and achieve this unique global accomplishment from Bahrain. Karas is covering a distance of 226 kilometers per day, divided into triathlon stages: swimming 3.8 kilometers, cycling 180, and running 42.2. This routine is to be repeated over 150 consecutive days to achieve the record. The meeting of the Joint Ministerial Committee between Bahrain and the UAE was co-chaired by the Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al-Zayani and the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Dr. Al-Zayani expressed pride in the strong historical and fraternal relations between Bahrain and the UAE under the directives of His Majesty the King and His Highness the UAE President. The Minister highlighted the strong and fraternal relations between the two nations, emphasizing the depth of ties and the commitment of their leaders to further develop these bonds. He expressed appreciation for His Highness's efforts in further strengthening these relations and the strategic partnership. He also praised the UAE's diplomacy, which is characterized by wisdom and influence. Dr. Al-Zayani praised the high level of cooperation and political coordination between the UAE and Bahrain, noting their commitment to continuous consultation and expertise exchange. He said that the meeting of the Joint Committee underscores both countries' dedication to strengthening fraternal relations and expanding bilateral cooperation across all sectors. For his part, His Highness emphasized that the session of the Joint Committee reflects the deep-rooted relations between the two nations. He said that the UAE has always viewed Bahrain as a strategic partner and an integral part of the progress and prosperity in the Arabian Gulf and the region. He emphasized that the ongoing work of the Joint Committee reflects the commitment of both nations to collaborative action. His Highness underscored the UAE's keenness to further expand its partnership with Bahrain across various domains, including industry, trade, renewable energy, transportation, infrastructure, and services. During the meeting, both sides highlighted the strong fraternal relations between the UAE and Bahrain, noting the advanced level they reached across various sectors. During the meeting, the two countries signed memorandums of understanding for joint cooperation in a number of fields. An MOU between the Civil Aviation Affairs of Bahrain and the General Authority of Civil Aviation of the UAE on strengthening cooperation and exchanging expertise in the field of civil aviation, signed by the Minister of Transportation and Telecommunications, Dr. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, and the Minister of Economy of the UAE, Abdullah bin Tawq Al Marri. An executive program for cooperation between the Ministry of Tourism in Bahrain and the Ministry of Economy in the UAE in the field of tourism, signed by the Minister of Tourism Fatma Sayrafi and the Minister of Economy Abdullah bin Tawq Al Marri. An MOU on cooperation in the field of training and development of governmental competencies, signed by the Director General of the Institute of Public Administration, Dr. Sheikh Rana bint Isa bin Daij Al Khalifa, and the Director General of the Government Academy of the Department of the Government Empowerment, Dr. Yasser Ahmed Al Naqbi. An MOU between the Ministry of Finance and National Economy in Bahrain and the Ministry of Finance in the UAE on partnership, bilateral cooperation and exchange of financial and economic policies and expertise, signed by Assistant Under-Secretary for International Cooperation Affairs at the Ministry of Finance and National Economy, Engineer Nawaf Hashim Al-Sada, and Acting Assistant Secretary for International Financial Relations, Ali Abdullah Sharafi. And an MOU between the Ministry of Finance and National Economy in Bahrain and the Federal Competitiveness and Statistics Center in the UAE to cooperate in the fields of enhancing competitiveness, signed by the Assistant Under-Secretary for Competitiveness and Economic Indicators at the Ministry of Finance and National Economy, Dr. Faisal Isa Hamad, and the Director of the Federal Competitiveness and Statistics Center at the Ministry of Cabinet Affairs, Hanan Mansour Ahli. The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and his accompanying delegation arrived in Bahrain yesterday to hold a meeting of the Bahraini Emirati Joint Committee. Upon arrival, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, the Ambassador of the UAE to Bahrain, Fahad Mohammed Salim Kardous Al Amri, and several senior officials at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, received UK former Prime Minister and Chairwoman of the Global Commission on Modern Slavery and Human Trafficking, Theresa May, along with her accompanying delegation during her visit to Bahrain. The meeting was attended by the Minister of Sustainable Development, Noor Al Khlaif. The Minister hailed the close historical and strategic relations between Bahrain and the UK. He noted the significant efforts made by Theresa May during her tenure as Prime Minister to further strengthen the Bahraini-British relations. The Minister congratulated May on the establishment of the Global Commission to Combat Trafficking in Persons. He highlighted Bahrain's pioneering record in this area, which is supported by a comprehensive human rights framework based on advanced legislative policies and measures under Law 1 of 2008 on combating trafficking in persons. He added that it aligns with the government's program and the National Human Rights Plan 2022 to 2026, while adhering to international standards and best practices in combating trafficking in persons. The Minister of Transportation and Telecommunications, Dr. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, inaugurated the International Maritime Organization's regional workshop with the participation of 24 experts and specialists from 12 countries. In his speech, the minister emphasized that the maritime industry is a key pillar of global trade, noting that ensuring the safety of seafarers requires full compliance with advanced standards of training and qualification. He also praised Bahrain's long maritime heritage and the kingdom's pivotal role in strengthening regional and global economic ties, stressing its commitment to supporting the maritime sector by investing in infrastructure, developing the skills of human cadres, and strengthening the legislation regulating the sector, most notably the Maritime Navigation Law of 2022. For his part, IMO representative Milton Barron expressed his appreciation to Bahrain for hosting this important regional workshop, praising its pioneering role in promoting the maritime sector in the region and its position as a leading country in applying the highest international standards. The president of the Electricity and Water Authority, EWA, Kamal bin Ahmed Mohammed, announced that the authority is continuing to implement its strategic plans to expand and enhance Bahrain's electricity and water infrastructure. He said that the authority is currently planning 2 new projects in a partnership with the private sector, the Sitra and Independent Power and Water Production Plant and the Head Independent Water Production Plant, both to be implemented over the next 4 years. He added that the primary objective of these projects is to enhance electricity and water infrastructure efficiency and increase production capacity to meet urban and economic growth demands. He announced that the pre-qualification documents for local and international developers have been issued through the Tender Board's electronic platform. He revealed plans to announce new solar power station projects soon and emphasized that these initiatives reflect the authority's vision to enhance the sustainability of Bahrain's energy and water infrastructure while supporting sustainable development in Bahrain. The Minister of Tourism and Chairman of Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority, Fatma Sayrafi, chaired the BTEA Board of Directors meeting. The board was briefed on the latest developments of the tourism sector, highlighting key achievements and progress on the objectives of the Tourism Strategy 2022 to 2026. They discussed several new tourism projects launched in the third quarter of 2024 and their positive impact on enhancing the sector's contribution to GDP. Additionally, preparations for Bahrain holiday season 2024 were outlined, which will feature a variety of events and entertainment activities throughout December. Sayrafi praised the recent tourism achievements, the launch of quality projects in family entertainment and hospitality, as well as the opening of several luxury hotels. In implementation of Decision 43 of 2024 regarding payments for commercial transactions, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce announced the start date for implementing the first phase of the decision, which includes new commercial establishments as of December 13th. The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Abdullah Fakhro, stressed that the decision comes in response to the economic and technological developments in Bahrain and is an important step to enhance the efficiency of commercial establishments and support digital transformation. He called on all businesses to comply with the decision as it contributes to the development of the business environment and supports the enhancement of competitiveness locally and internationally. He pointed out that the decision is not limited to opening a commercial bank account, but obliges enterprises to use this account for all their financial transactions, while refraining from using personal accounts in commercial transactions, which enhances transparency in managing funds and provides a comprehensive view of the financial situation. The Director General of the Institute of Public Administration, Dr. Sheikha Rana bint Isa bin Daij Al Khalifa, attended the opening of the second in-person component organized by the Institute in cooperation with the Royal Academy of Administration in Amman, the Saeed Business School at the University of Oxford, and the GCC General Secretariat. Dr. Sheikha Rana highlighted Bahrain's successful hosting of the Future of Work in Government for the Arab Gulf States program. She mentioned the Institute's ongoing efforts to improve government leaders' skills and boost administrative development. She also emphasized that the GCC is moving in the right direction towards enhancing the capabilities of government leaders in dealing with the current and future challenges. Dr. Sheikha Rana added that this initiative reflects the Institute's ambitious vision to be a center for leadership thinking and administrative development. She pointed out that the program was able to attract 65 trainees from the category of managers in public sector institutions in the GCC, which achieves the strategic objectives of the program. The CEO of the Urban Planning and Development Authority, Engineer Ahmed Abdelaziz Al Khayyat, announced the addition of 3 planning services to the list of services currently offered in the Takhtit platform as part of efforts to accelerate digital transformation in the provision of government services.